Superdelegates, listen up. I'm Elise, and you know it's bullshit? Denying Bernie Sanders the Democratic nomination. Because if you want to win the White House, then forget about coronating Hillary Clinton. You know what? Do us all a favor and save the world from the possibility of President Trump by nominating the only candidate who can beat him, Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because while all of Hillary Clinton's weaknesses play to every single one of Trump's strengths, the opposite is true with Bernie Sanders. All of Bernie's strengths actually play to all of Trump's weaknesses.
What about Bernie versus Trump, given that Trump now has come back to take a statistical tie against Hillary Clinton? Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, consistently outpolling Donald Trump. You will see that in every poll that is making up this Real Clear Politics average, Bernie Sanders is ahead.
Trump's main strategy of obliterating his opponents by relying on name-calling, exploiting their personal weaknesses, controversies, and scandals will simply not be as effective with Bernie. Unlike Hillary, he's got no shady donors, no business deals, no email controversies, no expedient flip-flops, no paid speeches to Wall Street, no conflict of interest. Bernie just doesn't give him a lot to work with. What's Trump gonna call Bernie out on? Being a radical socialist?
It's crooked Hillary Clinton against the communists. Who the hell? I mean, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Yeah. Trump would attempt to paint Bernie as a crazy socialist who's ushering in some type of communist revolution, and it would pose a risk, but this line of attack wouldn't leave Bernie on the defensive. It would only provide him with a platform to keep talking about what his beliefs actually are, like a higher minimum wage, the influence of money in politics, the perils of income inequality, healthcare for all, and the need for paid family leave.
Separating a mom from her baby because she does not have sufficient income to stay home is not a family value.
If this is socialism, it doesn't sound so scary then, does it?
How does a socialist like yourself keep winning elections in a country we generally consider that has a two-party system?
Well, I think we win in Burlington. I should point out that in Burlington, I am the mayor, and I've won on 4 occasions. I think the reason that we win and continue to win is that increasingly people are frustrated and angry about a two-party system which is dominated by big money and which does not pay attention to the needs of working people or elderly people or poor people. And I think if you talk common sense to the people and you say the government is supposed to represent the needs of those people who today are not getting a fair shake, you know what? They'll vote for you.
And the polls back this up. When Bernie campaigns in a state right before a primary, his support skyrockets because the more people are exposed to his so-called radical socialist ideas, the more support he gets because his platform is resonating with millions of people across the country.
Tonight in the heart of Greenwich Village,
There are a lot of people here tonight.
27,000 Sanders supporters packed Washington Square Park, one of Sanders' biggest crowds yet.
He's getting huge arenas filled with people. He's getting people really excited. And one of the things, as you said, is that he is really genuine. He is really authentic. He really does seem confident and has answers and solutions. Whereas Hillary Clinton, when you see her, people don't trust her. And it's because she's not really authentic.
A stark contrast to the scene up in the Bronx, where Hillary Clinton had her own rally tonight.
All the momentum is on his side. But the main point is that unlike with Hillary, Trump would be unable to set the conversation because his line of attack would still leave Bernie exactly where he is now, focusing on the issues. And that is bad news for Trump because Bernie wins on the issues.
I've seen this for 40 years.
What?
People underestimate him.
That's right.
He has an incredibly powerful message. And he actually, I remember my last election after I'd done civil unions, I got clobbered in a certain part of the state that always votes conservative, and Bernie Sanders got every vote that my very conservative opponent got. He is a tremendous appeal to ordinary working people who feel like they're getting screwed. And this happens to be the biggest issue of the campaign.
Unlike Hillary Hillary and Trump's Republican opponents, Bernie has tapped into the same anti-establishment sentiment as Trump.
I wanted to describe a candidate to you. The candidate is considered a political outsider by all the pundits. He's tapping into the anger of the voters, delivers a populist message. He believes everyone in the country should have health care. He advocates for hedge fund managers to pay higher taxes. He's drawing thousands of people at his rallies and bringing in a lot of new voters to the political process. And he's not beholden to any super PAC. Who am I describing?
Or any special interests or any donors. You're describing Donald Trump.
Actually, I was describing Bernie Sanders.
Oh, that's good.
You see, all of these unique selling points that set Trump apart from the Washington establishment also set Bernie apart, which gives Trump a lot less ammunition. I mean, what's he gonna attack Bernie on? Flip-flopping?
But at a time when the wealthiest people of this country have seen a tremendous increase in their income, while at the same time the standard of living of working people and poor people has declined, I will be damned if I will vote for a proposal which will stick it to the middle class and the working people.
And this is what he sounds like today.
We have millions and millions of working people who are working hard but are not making enough money to put bread on the table or to take care of their kids, and that has got to end.
Or Bernie's dishonesty and untrustworthiness.
I've said for a long time, I like and respect Bernie Sanders because he's honest, he's candid.
We are philosophically different, but Bernie was an honest man.
I think he's an authentic guy. I think he's an honest guy.
You know what I like about Bernie is a man of his convictions.
I mean, I don't think Hillary knows.
He's sincere.
Or his lack of judgment based on his Iraq war vote.
I am concerned about the problems of so-called unintended consequences. Who will govern Iraq when Saddam Hussein is removed? And what role will the U.S. play in an ensuing civil war that could develop in that country? Will moderate governments in the region who have large Islamic fundamentalist populations be overthrown and replaced by extremists?
But on the other hand, Bernie would be able to call out Trump in ways that Hillary simply can't. And it'll resonate with voters because unlike Hillary, none of it applies to him.
I would love Hillary to try with all of her connections with the Clinton Foundation money and everything else to try to make a point about Donald being in the pocket of the big money guys.
I mean, can't you already imagine Bernie calling on Trump to release his tax returns so they would show how much money Trump has made on his business deal so that he can serve as a huge inspiration to average Americans? Or commenting on Trump's huge change of heart towards the corrupting influence of money in politics when he viciously went after his primary opponents for courting big donors.
I am not accepting any money from anybody. Nobody has control of me other than the people of this country.
Would you self-fund if you run, or are you going to?
I'm going to self-fund. Yeah, I'll self-fund.
You'll self-fund if you run.
Can I tell you, that's the beauty of, that's the one thing that's such, I can do it myself. I know the guys at Goldman Sachs. They have total control over him. Just like they have total control over Hillary Clinton.
But is now kindly treating those same donors to $25,000 Trump stakes.
Look who is now the national finance chairman of Trump's campaign. It's Steve Mnuchin. He's a Goldman Sachs guy.
I only tell the truth, lobbyist.
Bernie's jabs would stick because Bernie doesn't take a cent from big donors. He will be the personification of Trump's anti-establishment message and be the only candidate who can claim to not be a puppet that is bought and paid for by special interests.
Bernie Sanders, a Vermont socialist without taking Wall Street money, has outraised Hillary Clinton.
With no celebrity platform.
No, yeah, and he's also raised $180 million, average donation $27 a piece.
I'm not wild about the money. I mean, I'm for some more public financing and whatever, but we haven't seen that from Trump. And if he goes up against Bernie Sanders, which could still, there's a slim possibility of that, it'll really be interesting.
And unlike Hillary, who's not good enough on the issue so that she has made her entire campaign an anti-Trump crusade, giving Trump the attention that he craves.
It's very simple. Hillary is baked in. You're not going to make her any more appealing. You just have to scare the bejesus with people of Trump. You basically almost put Hillary in a drawer and make this about there's too much at stake. That's the game. That is the game. It's Barry Goldwater.
But she's not the best person in the world equipped to do it.
The focus of Bernie's campaign wouldn't be on Trump. It would be on the issues. It would be on the declining middle class. It would be on the need to fix a rigged economy that is stacked against the poor.
The antidote to Trump is a very strong, progressive agenda that says, yes, I know that you're angry. And you know what? You should be angry because you're working longer hours for low wages. You have a right to be bitter, and you have a right to be... Don't take it out on the Muslims. Don't take it out on Latinos. Try to help us work together to create a country where your kids and you can have a decent standard of living. And it has to be a bold and radical agenda, no more same old, same old. I don't mean to be political here. People are hurting and they're angry, and they want something to be able to stand up and fight for.
See that? Bernie is way too focused on lifting the disenfranchised to even bother engaging in Trump's petty bullshit. I mean, just imagine Trump standing next to a man like Bernie in a debate.
Who you worried about? Iraq? Panama? Who you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers, no more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield. The American people want to see our kids educated. They want a Head Start program. They want their kids to be able to go to college. They want to wipe out the fact that 5 million children in this country go to bed hungry. They want child care for their kids. They want decent education. Let's have the guts to give some leadership to this country.
And it is at that moment, my friends, that Trump will finally be exposed for the fraud that he is.
All controlled by lobbyists and special interests and donors. People like me from previous months, okay? Total control. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing. You know what that is, right?
He will be forced to pause his sideshow, which, let's face it, kind of takes away all of his appeal, right? And there is more, my friends, because demographics are also in Bernie Sanders' favor. Independent voters, most of whom were shut out from the undemocratic Democratic primary, represent the largest voting bloc in this country, and they disproportionately support Bernie.
A lot of those people in the crowd, they aren't Democrats, they're independents.
That's right, and that was part of his problem in Kentucky. It was a closed primary. He's won in places where it's open and independents can go vote for him. He's done not well in closed primaries because he's counting on those independents.
The reality is that both Bernie and Trump are bringing people into the Democratic and Republican parties that the establishment never even knew existed. But Hillary doesn't have that effect. So when independents get to vote, Bernie wins. They support him in even larger margins than they support Trump. And a lot of these voters, especially the new ones, they're coming together for a new reality that rejects establishment politics, that rejects the status quo, that rejects the influence of money in the political process. All things Hillary Clinton and now also Donald Trump basically personified. So there you go, superdelegates. It's all in your hands now. Either get ready to call Donald Trump Mr. President, or nominate the only candidate who has a shot at beating him, Bernie Sanders.
When millions of people stand up and fight, they win. That's it. And when people do not stand up and fight, we lose.
Doing otherwise would just be bullshit. All right, everyone, I'm Elise. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you agree with this video and you support Bernie in a matchup against Trump, please, please, please share it. I will be coming out with a video a week, so like my page, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time. Mwah, bitch.